talk about your Jojo hot takes, part 7. Jonathan and Caesar had the most sad and dramatic deaths in the anime. You're not too far off. The reason why this one is kind of frustrating is because Jonathan already beat Dio every single other time, and now he's just being a goody two-shoes? Finish him off! And of course, our very own Patrick Star, Caesar, his final attack against Wamuu is still one of the coldest moments in Jojo. But if we're talking about sad deaths, I think Abakio's definitely up there. That shit was way too sudden. Speaking of sudden, Avdol was done dirty, bro. No one even knew what happened. It was so fast. Obviously, gotta throw Kakyoin in there too. Unfortunately, someone did manage to deflect the Emerald Splash. And if we're talking about dramatic deaths, I think a lot of the villains had those. Primary example, Diavolo. My boy Risotto was also super unfortunate. Narancia, you piece of shit. You ruined everything. This one's very ironic. The guy who's into hands got pulled into the shadow realm by a bunch of hands. But the one that hit me the hardest, to the point where I actually couldn't believe it for a while, is Jotaro's death. I was convinced he had to be coming back. I was literally the Gojo fans right now. I was coping. He had to be coming back, right? Please tell me he was coming back. Now, I'm not saying if he used Starfinger, he would have been able to reach Pucci during the stop time segment. But I am saying that. You fucked up, bro. Heaven's Falling Down is one of the best openings, right behind Bloody Stream and Stand Proud. I like it. I think it's a good opening, but I wouldn't put it in the top 3. I think it definitely excels in the visuals and the 1,000 different throwbacks they did to the previous series. I also agree that Stand Proud is above it, as well as Bloody Stream, one of the greatest openings ever. But for my money, I would also throw Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town right up there. This one was just way too much fun. They got Bruno Mars on the track and thought I wouldn't notice. I'd also say Great Days was better. And also End of Zawardo, but this is less of a hot take and more of just personal taste. In a 1v1, Cream would beat Dio. Dio plays around way too much to win. You know what? You kind of got a point there, I'm not gonna lie. Dio definitely plays around way too much. And the fact that Vanilla Ice's kill count is higher than Dio's is also super interesting. Obviously, he's way too loyal to actually fight him, but in a hypothetical scenario where they go 1v1, I think Vanilla Ice definitely stands a chance. When he's in Cream, he's kinda invulnerable. The only problem is, much like his role model, Vanilla Ice also kind of plays around. He has no good reason to show his face inside Cream, and yet he does that multiple times. If Dio stops time and the world just punches through his head, it's over. But if he remains inside Cream the whole time, or what I call getting creamed, it's gonna be a closer fight than most people think, and Dio's gonna have to be the one to figure out how he's gonna beat him. Part 4 has the least memorable minor villains and was overall mediocre except for Kira. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't read the mediocre part. You better pretend you didn't say it too. But as much as I love part 4, you know what I'm saying? I don't think these are bad at all. I really like Akira and Bug Eaten, but there are hits and misses here. If we're talking the weakest minor villains, if we're not counting the first 2 parts because they barely had any, it's probably a toss-up between 4 and 6. This one's a bit of a mixed bag because it has Dio's other sons, but realistically, Versus was the only kind of standout complete W. Needless to say, part 3 has easily the greatest minor villain cast. This is a W group and Whole Horse is not even in here. And part 5 had La Squadra, so they're definitely up there too. But this take is kind of valid. How many Kazamada fans we got out there? And finally, Fugo would not have made much difference if he would have gone with the squad. I do think he should have gone with them. I think writing him out of the story completely was just super weird. I was kind of expecting him to at least come back right at the very end as like a, hey guys, hey, remember me? I changed my mind. But in all honesty, the way I envisioned this going, and this is just my own personal headcanon, is him playing a bigger role in the final part where everybody swapped bodies. But because of Purple Haze's nasty ability and the fact that it really doesn't work well in a group, I think it would have been pretty poetic if Purple Haze actually ends up killing Fugo himself. It makes a lot of thematic sense with all the pent-up hatred, and it makes Fugo into yet another tragic character instead of a coward. Drop some more hot takes in the comments.